Case Study 0017, Bigfoot, with comedian Dan McCarty. Two former musicians face off in the hunt for the legendary mountain creature. Huh, I wonder which one. Dan,
Tressa,
how are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Oh, that's
I'm very
really
happy
good to
be
hear.
here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah, as I was telling you, or well, you can see I wore my Sasquatch
Yes,
gear.
you are prepared.
So I got an embroidered shirt with a Sasquatch, and if you look closely, he's wearing a watch. So the Sasquatch is wearing a Squatch watch, and then I've got my Squatch socks.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
I'm super jealous.
I'm a really big fan of the Sasquatch and Bigfoot
Apparently.
in general.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so stoked to watch this movie.
Man.
And so, having watched it last night
Mm-hmm.
and then being here today to tell you about it,
Yes.
it's like I can't imagine a better weekend activity.
A dream come true.
It really is. It really is. So I'm doing great.
That's so good to hear.
Huh.
I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie, at times, hit me in an annoyance where it was too self-aware and like Sharknado-like, where it's like, get it? We're all celebrities, a wink wink.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think they pulled it off well enough where I had a lot of fun with it.
I was surprised at just how star-studded that cast
Oh my
was.
God, it was insane.
Like,
one page of my notes is just like names. What? Exclamation point. Hessman, what?
Like, how did he get it? How did he? And then just to think that they're all doing it, and I'm going back in time and like, all right, it's 2012. Where are these guys in their careers
Mm-hmm.
where they're like, this is going to be great? And then watching it and knowing that the CGI wasn't there in the acting.
Oh, boy.
And so it's like, oh, they're just really running with it. They don't know how this is going to turn out,
No.
but
Oh
they're
my
giving it
God.
their damnedest.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay. My first impression, the opening scene, I thought it was perfect.
Oh yeah, the
Right.
circle of life.
The circle of life going through there. It's like, and then our introduction to Bigfoot is the first kill
Mm-hmm.
where he uses his big foot, just squashes down.
He
like,
does that a lot.
Yes, I took count.
Oh, nice.
How many Bigfoot foot kills there were throughout the movie.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. All right. It starts off with our hero question mark. Harley, whoever. Obvious Henderson. Oh, it's like Harley Davidson and Harry and the Hendersons married in one person.
Yes. It was at the end of the movie, and I was like, wait, Harley Henderson? That little Easter egg?
Totally. And he probably named himself. He probably was really proud of himself because that's what he does in general.
Oh, so Harley and Harley Henderson, played by Danny Bonaducci.
Yep.
They did let it slip that his real name was Daniel.
Are you serious?
There's one point where Spencer's like, you know what, Daniel?
I totally missed that.
And I was like, yes.
Not surprising. So he is a smart-ass 80s rock and roll DJ for this tiny little town of Deadwood.
Town of Deadwood.
Yeah. And boy, does he really love 80s rock and roll.
Like, he loves it so much, he decides to set up a festival.
Oh, the 80s Flashback Festival?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he almost got Steppenwolf. Oh, no, it was a Sting. Sting. I almost got Sting.
Oh, I thought for sure you were correct for a minute. Because that's how it looked. It looked like it was a 60s throwback concert, but it was for 80s throwbacks.
Yeah.
And like in his commercial for it, he's like, we've got Devo, Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, and others. So it's a bunch of 80s bands with the letter D at the beginning that did not show up at all at the festival.
No.
Like it was a confusing festival because like 5 people showed up and Alice Cooper is there.
With a cardboard snake.
Oh, and Greg Brady's there.
Greg Brady, so there's an argument, right?
Right.
Where they were getting in. Well, let me rewind a little bit. The town of
Please
Deadwood,
do. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the town of Deadwood in the opening montage after the first kill, right? Now
Yeah.
we get to see the town, and Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
is a very central figure in the background.
Mhm.
And so I said, how far away from Mount Rushmore is Deadwood?
Thank you. How far?
53 miles. It's about an hour drive.
So it's always just there.
It's right
so
there.
Close.
Right there. You could spit at it, you know? So 53 miles east of Mount Rushmore
Wow.
is the town of Deadwood.
Have you ever been to South Dakota or Mount Rushmore?
Fun fact.
Yes.
I've been to South Dakota on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped off in the Corn Palace.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar.
So there's the Corn Palace, and then I actually got a speeding ticket
Oh.
for the city of Deadwood.
So you like, this is like old turf to you. You're
Yeah.
totally familiar.
I was driving overnight. It was like 12:30, and I was going 70 and a 60.
Mm,
They pulled me over,
mm.
gave me a $75 ticket.
Made you sit in that little tiny jail cell overnight.
They put me in the clink. I got busted out by my gang the next day.
We used to go to South Dakota every year for family vacation. I guess it was close. I don't know. I'm from Omaha. I don't know.
Okay.
And I just love South Dakota. It's
Yeah.
like you got Wall Drug, you got Corn Palace, you got Rushmore, you got Devil's Tower, which I think is Wyoming. I don't know. And then when I was there, the Flintstone Park was still open.
Mhm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's
No.
now like decrepit and like it's abandoned, but it was just like you walked through this little tiny town and they had structures that looked like Flintstone houses and little what looked like paper mache statues of the Flintstone characters.
wow.
It was amazing.
So it's like bedrock. It's just
Thank you. It was bedrock.
and so it's closed down, but it's still there. They're just
I
like,
don't know if it's
let's
still
just
there.
shut the gates.
Yes.
And let
it decay.
Let bedrock rot.
Let it go back to nature.
Right. My cousin or my nephew and my mom and my aunt and my little her godson,
Hmm.
he's a little baby. They went on a road trip and they went through South Dakota. They
Yeah.
stopped off at Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
Like they went to all the stops, like the biggest goose, the ball of string. You know, it took
Oh,
them.
did they go to the mystery spot where everything the gravity's weird?
Probably. Is that where you put the egg on it and it like stands up?
I don't know. I just remember a lot of like ping pong balls like bouncing the wrong way.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, all I know really of their road trip is it took them. They went to Colorado and
Mhm.
it took them about a week to get there.
Oh my god.
To get there.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna stop at every single
Pretty
thing,
little.
yeah.
There was a Bigfoot museum. I remember them. I was like, how was it? And she's like, well, we drove up and it was kind of like in the middle of nowhere. And then we started seeing like a bunch of stuff like in the yard and everything. And it was like this woman's trailer home. And we were
Oh
like,
my
we
God.
kind of just kept going.
Yeah, no, I definitely would not stop.
Yeah.
I would be totally intimidated by that.
Yeah.
But
a
that's
little bit.
awesome. Oh my god. All right, we should probably talk about the movie. Okay. Where we stopped? We were talking
The
about
festival. Which
Oh, wait.
another-
Before the festival, that's when Greg Brady, whose name I cannot remember.
Spencer.
No, I mean his real name.
I can't remember. I was hoping you would tell me.
I mean, I could look it up, but I don't want to because he's Greg Brady. He was like an environmentalist who was going to be like, I'm going to save this forest because, I mean, let's be fair. He was just doing that for ladies. He did
Mhm.
not care. And it was just gross. And he's having his ladies like chain themselves up to
Oh, yeah.
tractors and shit.
Very dangerous.
Yeah. And Oh, at one point, Greg Brady sees Sherilyn Finn get out of the cop car, and he's like, "Where's the sheriff then?" And she's like, "It's me. I'm a lady sheriff, you fucking asshole." So they're all chained up, and the tractor starts moving, and then one of the sheriffs pulls out his gun, and it's like, what? There's no emergency here. You do not. I mean, I guess that is a normal reaction of a police officer to just pull their gun at any opportunity, but it was not necessary in this situation.
Well, then she shot it in the air.
Yes.
To stop the tractor driver.
Yes.
Because the guy was yanking the girls.
That bullet is going to land somewhere. You don't just fire your firearm for no freaking reason.
Well, in South Dakota, it's a little more rural. So the chances of...
All right. Fine.
But the second kill...
Yes.
Right, happened shortly after that.
Yes.
And it was a litter bug. So at this point, I'm just like, fuck yeah, Bigfoot. Get him. This dude threw his cigarette butt out in the forest, which is like, that personally, it irks me to no end. Look, if we're going to smoke, you're going to smell like cigarettes, put it in your freaking pocket until you can find a trash can.
How do you not put it out at all? Like, he just dropped it. At the very least, he could put it out.
Yeah. I mean,
littering is one thing, but let's not start a forest fire. So then he gets stomped on like a cigarette, does he not?
Stomped. Actually, doesn't he get... I think he gets swiped. There's a lot of swiping. In fact, there's a lot of swiping, I believe. I only tracked the stomping.
Yeah.
But then there's the kicking, the swiping, and the chomping.
Chomping like a corn dog. It was so good. The thing is, every time he did that, it was just like he would bite the head off and then throw the rest of the body away. He was like, it was like a toddler's treat of like a gingerbread man. He was like, this is the only part I want. I'm done.
I think it was the same animation every time. And... like, there's one part where he picked up a woman, and then in his arms is, like, a guy in a vest with blue jeans, and he gets his head chomped. I'm like, didn't he just chomp that guy's head? And it's like, no matter who he picks up, it's the same animation of that blue jean vest.
They were counting on everyone in South Dakota to be wearing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Which they did for the most part.
There was that scene when the sheriffs are talking to the mayor.
Yeah.
And the mayor's like, how can you even take this seriously? You're not even in your new uniforms. And she goes, I'm wearing the hat. But they wore the same uniform throughout the movie. So I'm dying to know, like, what was that new uniform? Was it like...
spats and like bullets?
I imagine like a little ranger outfit with like tan and then khaki shorts that are just way too short. It's like, I wore the hat, but the hat was a big fuzzy hat.
Yes.
It's like they're wearing a big fuzzy hat and jacket.
How did he even know?
Yeah, exactly. What is that uniform?
That is a great question. I hope that there were sequins involved.
So this is where Danny Bonaducci or Harley Henderson and Spencer, Greg Brady, they get into the first argument, and Harley goes, "You've got beautiful eyes, just like your mother."
So many your mama jokes in this movie that I was not expecting, but they were like not mean-spirited. They were, I loved fucking your mom.
Yeah, and it was just like, remember, I did fuck your mom.
Don't forget. I don't ever want you to forget this because it's important to our relationship.
Now, I was thinking Spencer and Harley, they were in a band together back in the day.
Yep.
And then Harley was like, I'm going for the money, and Spencer's like, I'm going for the environment. And that's where they broke apart. Right. I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And
Midnight Daffodil was the name of their band.
So he says there's one point where Harley goes, we got 50 acres to clear for this festival.
Right.
Which is a huge tract of land.
Insane.
Right? And then when he's negotiating with Spencer, he's like, well, come on, man, I'll let you do your song, and then I'll plant 1,000 trees. So that got me thinking, how many trees are we going to bulldoze to plant 1,000? So I looked it up, and it came out to roughly, if a tree has 150 feet of square space for that tree, you're going to get about 290 trees per acre.
Okay.
Right? So they're going to bulldoze 50 acres.
Okay.
And then they're going to replant 3.4 acres.
Oh.
And Spencer at that time was like, well, as long as I get to sing, yeah, let's do it. And he just agreed to it. I'm like, dude,
See?
he's taking out huge tracts of land.
He is selfish. He's not doing this for the environment. He was doing it for him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But also at the same point, they're bulldozing all these trees and stuff. And later on, he's like, everyone's down at the fairgrounds. If those are fairgrounds, why was it not already bulldozed?
You'd imagine.
Fairgrounds are wide open spaces where you have fairs.
Yeah.
Not a forest. You fucking assholes.
Everybody's, well, since we already the 50 acres of fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And then we got Alice Cooper, right?
Oh, but wait, first, during this first excursion with Bigfoot where he's like, fuck you guys for tearing down my trees or whatever he's angry about, he picks up a tractor and throws it in onto like the mountain and it explodes and causes a forest fire, which is not great. But they get it under control. The firemen get it under control. And then the next day in the radio station, Harley is like, hey, we got the fire department here to let you know that we're all ready to go. And this fire chief is my favorite character in the whole movie. Yes, we put out the fire. Next scene.
I did not think, I thought it was one of his goons. I was like, it's just some guy that Harley's got like, all right, Steve, now say I am the fire chief and we put out the fire. And
yes.
Not to mention the loss of like 4 or 5 lives. That's one thing throughout the movie. They did not take loss of life very seriously.
Nope.
He's like 4 guys died. There's a tractor exploded. Sasquatch came out of the woods.
Yep.
And Bigfoot the fucked out of everybody.
And
then they had to put it out. And Harley's just like, don't forget, the 80s festival is tomorrow. We got that fire under control. And it's like, your workers have 50 acres to clear and they're now halved in numbers. Like, what are we?
Every once in a while,
cover it up.
Every once in a while, somebody will mention, well, a lot of people have died already. And the way they say it in like the span of when they're saying it makes it sound like, I have to say this because people died, blah, blah, blah. But also the money that we've lost from this festival is outrageous because like 5 people showed up.
Yeah, I was thinking he must have a lot of money put in there, vendors and all this stuff, because he's really fighting for this. And then they show it, and it's just that one little stage.
Like in a corn dog stand.
It's the smallest stage in the world.
It was. I've seen bigger stages in clubs at the back of a bar for open mics.
Spencer's up there with a guitar, and he's taking up the entirety of the stage. He didn't even get through one song.
Nope.
Before he was jeered off.
Yep.
And Alice Cooper, the professional that he is, he's like, look, and I'm getting out of here. It's like, you're not even going to let him play his hit?
Oh, my God. No, they're not. Absolutely not.
He can't even get through the first one. Listen, the hits come at the encore. We all know that. What do you guys hear? Is Alice Cooper going to do one song and then that's it? Everybody, we're done.
But he didn't even play one of his songs. It was like a public domain rock song that he performed.
I was like, who was his band? Because he clearly came on his own. Yeah. The band was just a bunch of locals. Just getting up there.
I need a backup band.
It was just the same riff. The same riff.
At Alice Cooper, one point, he's like, I'm just here to promote my golf book. And I was like, he 100% is talking about this movie and not this fake fest. He is only in this movie.
Fun fact. My mom's best friend is family friends with Alice Cooper.
Shut up.
Yeah, and they go golfing and stuff.
What?
And apparently he's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he looks like it. Seems like it.
Seems like it. Yeah. I mean, he's the scariest man in the world.
Yeah. No.
I'm here to sell my golf book.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him?
No, I have not.
I went to one Alice Cooper concert, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, he murdered his daughter, who was Paris Hilton at the time. and cut her head off.
It'll happen.
And kicked her puppy off the stage.
Oh my God.
It's like a little Taco Bell stuffy dog. You know? He just like murdered it and kicked it out of here.
Oh, bless him.
Such a great show.
I
Such a
bet.
great show.
I mean, he's a showman if nothing else.
Oh, like the original showman.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he really brought that in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got a lot to thank him for.
I agree.
And for starring in this, being a part of the star-studded cast.
I know.
Because again, I was
Yes.
every person who had a line, you're like, I've seen you before.
Yep. There's one guy, like the other sheriff, I was like, I don't know who you are, but I know who you are.
Oh,
And
Watts.
Hessman is
Walt.
in there. Yeah. Sherilyn Fenn. Like, everyone was somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't know who they were, but you knew that they were somebody.
Did you get a little will they, won't they vibe from the sheriff and Spencer? Ever since he was like, a lady sheriff.
No.
And I was
gross.
like, I feel like it was out there because I kind of caught on to it. And it was like, this is what you would be dating if you were dating somebody age appropriate.
Oh, no, that's
know?
no gross. He was the grossest character. He was bleh, no. And she was so together. She would not have any of that. No.
I'm just saying. They kind of had it set up at they were gonna have a little moment. When they were in the jail cell and he's like, I'm not talking to no cop, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're just kind of listen. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's the tension.
Yeah. Wink.
Wink, wink.
All right, so we're at this fest, right? Alice Cooper's playing. Everyone's rocking out. And this drunk girl's like trying to butt into the porta potty line.
Oh, can I butt?
Do people say that?
I've never heard that phrase. And she's just going down the line to the first guy and then the guy right behind him. Can I butt? Can I butt?
You coming on to me? That's gross. No.
She's got 2 drinks in her hands,
Totally full.
like in chalices.
Like
They're not,
fluorescent
like-
colored
Yeah,
chalices.
they've got big old swirly straws, I believe.
Mhm.
And she's just, can I butt? She's got to go. She's got to go.
Then she goes behind, like maybe 2 feet behind the porta potties, and
Mhm.
squats behind some bushes. And she when she squatted and took her pants down, she was fully peeing inside of her pants. She was that drunk. And then our pal Bigfoot comes up and he's like, whoa, you can't pee on my land, lady.
Like, come on, there's some decency.
Seriously. So
You're
she
in
pulls
my home.
Yes. So she pulls up her pants. She's like, whoa. And he picks her up and throws her and like smashes the porta potty with her. And I was like, that was beautiful. Thank you, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Fully deserved.
She's the takes out the whole porta potties, and then he comes right behind, just ready to destroy this festival.
He's picking up people, tearing them in half, eating their intestines. It was great. I mean, you can't really actually see any of that because the CGI is horrible.
It really.
But
I did notice he had very long nails. This
Mhm.
Bigfoot, like very, very long.
they were like
and
talons.
very sharp.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
Oh
were-
yeah.
mhm.
But then all of the footprints are just like regular, like you would imagine a Bigfoot print.
Yep. No arch, as we've been told.
No, absolutely, just like the size of a small car.
Yep.
I did like to before, when they were talking before the festival really kicked off, they were like, I don't know if these animals like this rock and roll. And then sure enough, it was like the vibration from the
The
speakers.
feedback.
Alice Cooper's going out there, and then Bigfoot's like in the woods, and like his ears perk up. And it's like, dun, 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 dun.
He's like, fuck yeah, bro.
I've got to fucking knock this out. It's like, nah. That's what happens. That's what happens to you if you take your Bluetooth speaker out hiking. You're gonna get fucked up by Bigfoot.
Mhm.
People will applaud.
Yeah, absolutely.
You throw your cigarette butts in the middle of the woods.
Mhm.
You're gonna get fucked up by Bigfoot.
Torn in half, stepped on. It's what you deserve.
Kicked, swatted,
Yep. Swatted.
whatever he's in the mood for. Those arms really went wild. Like it's like
Yeah.
early CGI or whatever, where you
Uh-huh.
see like a video game glitch where the arms just going
There are
out of
parts
control.
where he's jumping forward, and it's obviously just like a still frame that they moved closer, made bigger to get closer to the camera, and then placed it silently on the ground. It was really not well done, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean this Bigfoot. it had to have been on purpose. There's no way somebody's like, I'm trying my hardest, and that's what they came up with.
Oh, I don't know. 2012? Are we at that point with CGI? I have no idea.
We're a lot further along than.
No, you're totally right. I'm thinking of Michael Jackson's Black and White, and no, yeah, we are much, much further.
Yes, that was much earlier. That was like somebody was like, they gave it to their like 13-year-old nephew. It was like, wouldn't this be a fun school project for your media class?
I'll give you $5.
Yeah.
$5, you got it.
Oh man! So Alice Cooper gets Bigfoot kicked. So he is taken out by a Bigfoot. But he gets the kick
It was
treatment.
confusing because Bigfoot jumped and landed on the stage, and I thought that he landed on Alice Cooper, but then the next scene he kicks him.
Yeah, like he jumps, lands on the stage, and then the very next scene he's behind the stage.
Yeah.
And then I that caught me off guard too. I was like, oh, he's got squashed, and then he's behind the stage and he kicks him. I'm like, nope, kick column.
Yep. Kick column.
So Bigfoot has just destroyed this town's, the 80s rock festival.
Yep.
Killed Lord knows how many civilians.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it still seems like the towns are trying to keep it quiet. Now people are like, now we're following these hunters or photographers. And it's the two guys are having an argument.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know how much money a picture of that thing's going to go for? And then the other guy's like, it's not worth the danger, man. He's like, no, we're going to be in the water. You know, he's not going to be able to get there.
Guys.
And this dude, he just backs out.
Okay, wait, first before that, I need to talk about Soisa. The male sheriff says to Becky, here you go, Soisa. Strap on when it seems appropriate. And he hands her a gun. What? Is that a thing? Is that something people say about guns? Soisa? What?
Soisa. I didn't catch that, but I do remember he's like, you got to be armed. She's like, I don't need to be armed here. And he's like, Soisa.
I had to like rewind it and go to closed captioning because I was like, what the fuck is he saying? Oh, it's nonsense. Okay, I'm good. I'm not
closed captioning came up with Soisa.
Yes.
Maybe like so we hope or something, you know. I don't need a gun, so we hope, you know. Strap up when it feels appropriate.
Oh, obviously. That thing that we all say all the time about guns.
I just imagine her just like carrying it under her arm until it feels appropriate to strap up and put on the belt. It's like, that's just not economical.
I don't need this yet. I'm just going to put it in my pocket for a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we get to these photographers who are later called boaters in their inflatable rafts. And they are trying to run away at some point, paddle away from Bigfoot in their inflatable rafts.
Yeah.
And one of the rafts, the woman is paddling as hard as she can. She's trying her goddamn best, but she's only paddling on one side. And if that were the case, she would be going in a circle.
Also note, Bigfoot had no trouble with that water.
No.
It was like ankle deep. He just walks through it and he's
Yes, that's true, but he also could not catch up with these people that were paddling very quickly until he did.
He did have a problem throughout the movie where he's either super fast or just can't keep up.
And there's some sort of time shift where he ends up 50 feet behind him when a second ago he was right behind them.
Yeah, or there's a couple of swipes where you're like, oh, he got taken out. And then it's like, oh, no, they're still going.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going. So with the photographers on the rafts, we did get a stomp. We got another stomp.
Yep.
Another stomp squatch. And then the smart guy who was like, look, I'm not having any part of this.
Yeah.
You know, he comes back to check on his friends after hearing the mayhem and what happens to him.
No reward for him, even though he played it safe.
He played it safe, and he still got Bigfoot stopped.
Man, moral of the story, just fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Life is short.
Or if you're gonna leave your friends, do it all the way. Don't go. If you hear them screaming for help, don't go back.
No, you know why they're in trouble. Just keep going.
That's why you left.
Yes, okay? Absolutely.
So you're hearing that, and you're like, I was right. Keep going, pal.
Keep going in the other direction because going back is going to get you dead.
Yeah, you were also right that you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Bigfoot did not care.
Because this Bigfoot is not a Bigfoot that we all know and love. This is a 30-foot tall Bigfoot with feet the size of Volkswagen Bugs.
And talons.
And talons. He's angry. He's much angrier than the Bigfoot that I know and love.
Yeah, like the Bigfoot, the Squatch with the Squatch watch.
Yeah.
Like he's
just managing his own business. He's hanging out.
I imagine a Bigfoot is a gentle protector of the forest.
Yes, exactly. And this guy's a psychotic, homicidal maniac.
Well, his hair was crazy. Like his hair was
totally
like he'd
insane.
been electrocuted or something.
Yes.
Like it just on end all the time.
Static electricity 100% all the time. And it was like he had just rubbed a balloon on his head all the time.
Yeah, and it was very wiry. Like he did not look like a healthy Bigfoot.
Yeah, maybe he was actually a mentally ill Bigfoot. And he's just an outlier. They're usually what we think of them to be as like nurturing protectors of the forest. And this one just went a step further and he just lost his mind.
You know what really surprised me about him too?
What's that?
Big meat eater.
Oh,
like
that surprises you?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine a Bigfoot, like a giant ape, eat a lot of legumes or vegetation.
He's 30 feet tall.
Gorillas eat only veggies,
but they're not 30 feet tall. He needs his protein.
That's true. Again, very a wasteful eater.
It's so wasteful.
You just take one bite and throw it away.
Done. What kind of animal does that?
He was very picky too, because there's people that he would eat, and then there's people he would just squatch, and then swat him, kick him, whatever he would do.
Yep.
And then he'd be like, "Oh, you look tasty." Take a bite and throw it out.
Yes.
So,
he was like sampling a candy dish.
Very strange motivation, because like, is he hungry? Is he angry? Is he hangry?
Oh, good point.
Somebody should have gotten him a Snickers.
Oh my God. So now we meet these trophy hunters.
Trophy hunters, yeah.
And they pull up, like they have a conversation, don't care, but they pull up in an RV with a banner across it that says Bigfoot Deathmobile.
Oh yeah. It's like very poor. Not, it.
Somebody's
it doesn't like
made
fit
that
on the banner all the way, so like mobile is like kind of jammed in there.
Somebody's nephew made that for them, and that was so sweet that they put it up.
And the big hunter, Bubbles from The Wire.
Oh, see, I've never seen The Wire, so
that's where I knew him from. So I was like,
he looked very familiar. See, he was another very familiar, but I don't know why.
Yeah, it was good to see him because Bubbles is not a healthy character. He's an addict. He goes through a lot, but he's got a good heart.
Sure.
And then
just like this guy.
Well, this guy I kind of feel was almost the opposite. He didn't have any. Well, he loved murdering animals.
Oh yeah.
However,
it was like his favorite thing.
Yeah, he seemed like he was very healthy. He's very fit. He was successful.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to Harley.
Right.
Harley, I'll do anything for you because of your radio show. That's when I got all my sponsors.
And that made me question. You get sponsors for killing animals? That's a thing?
For hunting, apparently, because he mentioned that he has, he broke a record for bears.
Oh, okay.
He killed so many bears in a season, multiple times, as he added on.
Eyes rolling, yeah.
And I think he got millions of dollars for it.
That seems excessive.
There is a point where he's like, "Oh, something about your millions," and then he comes out and he's got the whole squad.
He's got millions of dollars, and he couldn't like have a Bigfoot Deathmobile sign printed at Costco or something.
Right. Kinko's. I'm sure Costco does it too.
They do everything. Come on. Now they're on 4-wheelers and they're gonna get him or something. I don't know what they're expecting to do because they know that guns pretty much don't do anything.
Well, this is where we learn that Bigfoot, aside from being a total badass, is bulletproof.
We learned that before the fest. But they only used like a handgun, so maybe they're like,
that's how I took it.
Yeah, okay,
I was like, because they had handguns, so they had small arms,
right,
and they weren't doing anything. So this, Bubbles shows up,
sure,
and he's got his whole squad of goons, and they got heavy artillery.
Right,
they're like, we're gonna take him. They got the Bigfoot Deathmobile. All right, they're gonna take him down.
They are prepared.
And that's when we find out it doesn't matter the caliber of your rifle. This motherfucker. His skin's so thick.
Which they actually say at some point. Don't you understand? His skin is thick. You cannot shoot him.
Yeah, it's not going to do anything to him. Yeah, so then they're chasing him. Well, no, he's chasing them through the woods because quickly the tides turn.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, shit, we got to retreat.
Right.
We got to get out of here. And that's where we get another stop death. One of the hunters on an ATV. He just...
Oh, yeah. That was brutal because then the other guy was like, oh, fuck, this is real. I'm going. I'm leaving now.
Yeah, and then Bigfoot's just chasing after him. And it's like the overhead scene.
That Bigfoot run is consistent and very goofy.
And this is another moment where Bigfoot just wipes out this dude's whole team.
One of the hunters says, "Man, that thing is big."
Yes. Oh.
Did I interrupt you? You were going to say something, and I had to say one of his hunters said.
No, well, I was just going to say this is kind of like after the fact.
Yeah.
Where, no, he's got his whole team wiped out.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, all right, Harley, it's you and me.
Yeah.
And doubles down.
Yep.
He's like, we got to take this guy out. And there's not a moment of silence for the lost. No mourning. Nope. Like, he literally just pulled them out of the woods, threw them on ATVs, and was like, well, they're gone.
Let's keep going. At this point, Harley wants to turn the Bigfoot into King Kong, basically. He wants to capture it and make it an attraction for Deadwood. Because it's an hour away from Mount Rushmore and no one knows that it's there. I guess. I don't know.
He calls the mayor. He says, hey, mayor. Mayor of Deadwood. How much did Mount Rushmore bring in last year? He's like, peak season alone.
How the fuck would I know? I don't care.
He goes, I don't know, 30 million?
It sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Harley goes, all right, I got a plan.
What if he said $1 billion? Did he have a plan if that was it?
Yeah. So now it's gone from seek and destroy to capture and exploit.
Yeah, because that's a great idea. This homicidal, deranged 30-foot monster, that's exactly who you need to capture. That's also bulletproof.
That also we haven't been able to stop for a second.
Nope.
Nothing has even made him pause.
Nope.
He's just ripped through everything we've thrown at him. But maybe if we come at it from a different angle.
Yeah, we definitely need to put him in a cage.
Yeah, we'll just capture him, sedate him a little bit, and sell tickets.
Take a trip to Home Depot, make that cage, you're good.
He's going to be bigger than Mount Rushmore.
Way bigger. I mean, not technically, but yeah. So they break into Greg Brady's house.
Well, this first they introduce us to Greg Brady's house, which
oh my god, that
kind of jealous.
I know.
It like this little it looked like a witch would live there.
Yes.
There's
oh my god, absolutely.
All over the place.
It is like I want to say it's a hippie house, but it's like your grade school art teacher's house is what it was.
Yeah,
full of just like tapestries, plants, and probably some
incense
not great
and all that stuff, and surprisingly little natural light for as many plants as there were.
It was dark as fuck.
It was dark as fuck until like you get to the back, and then there's like one window, and he's watering a vine, and you get to meet all of the environmentalists.
Yeah,
his whole squad, which I noted all women.
Yeah.
Not a single guy. And it's like, you know what? There are some guys that care about the environment. Nope. Okay, Spence?
Nope.
You know, not in this world.
Well, they're all younger women that I'm sure he wants to... He creeped me out so bad.
We meet that blonde woman who's like, I'm going for my dissertation. I'm finally going to do it this time. So she's like 27. She's failed out of college a couple of times.
Fair.
She's like, Bigfoot, this is it. I'm here. I'm in it.
I wanna take a look at that dissertation because it sounds awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. She had a weird Marsha Brady vibe too. Did you catch that at all? Like just the way she talked and presented herself was very like, sure, Jan. Like that sort of thing.
There was some tension between them two.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and Priya, his girlfriend, is much too young for him. She did not like that at all.
She should just let it happen because she was too young. She doesn't know what she's getting herself into.
And one thing to the point of how Harley kept talking about how he was banging his mom. That's his mom.
Yeah.
I was like, are we talking a little Brady Bunch Partridge Family action?
Oh!
Because didn't Mrs. Brady kind of get around with those younger actors?
Yeah, she did. I think she and Greg were actually together at some point. They did have a band, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, what if it's real?
I'm thinking that this is canon. Like this is the Partridge Family Brady Bunch universe. And there was at some point in the 80s, there was a crossover, right, where they played in a band together, and Harley hooked up with Mrs. Brady.
Yep.
And has just been rubbing it in Spencer's face ever since. Now they're like in their 50s.
Yep.
You know, it's 2012.
60s.
He can't get out of the 80s. That's why he's like stuck there. He's like, that was when I peaked. Now he's a washed up radio host.
Yep.
And Spencer's just like, you know, I don't know what happened to Greg Brady. They went on a trip to Hawaii and he fell in love with nature. And he's just like, you know what? I'm done with that. Yep. You know, trying to really reinvent himself. Mm-hmm. But again, he's still a bit of a perv.
Of course.
And he's got this whole harem because
that's what boys do.
Yeah.
Right?
Boys left to their own devices will attract a harem. If not, if a good woman doesn't lock them down.
And we're just about sick of your bullshit, so tighten up, boys. All right, so now we see, what's her name, Priya, the girlfriend?
The girlfriend, yeah.
She's like eyeballing the sheriff's station that looks like a really nice ranch house. And she sees the sheriff leave, so she sneaks in, like, confusing. She sneaks in and steals a paper map where they have pinpointed where Bigfoot has been, which I bet you could have just asked for it. Like, she's like breaking into the sheriff's station. She's like looking side to side, shifty eyes. She's like, I got it. Like, yeah, you probably could have just asked. It's just a paper map. Like, nobody cares.
When did Greg Brady get arrested?
That might have been before.
So that was before, right? And then who came in with bail? Somebody comes in with bail and just throws down a big fat wad of cash.
Nope. Priya got arrested. And Greg Brady comes in. He's like, here's a fat wad of cash because I'm Greg Brady, bitches.
Like, that'll do it, right?
You don't want change? Because that looks like a lot of money.
It was like a fat stack. It was just a 120 with a bunch of singles. And the guy just looks at it. The sheriff just kind of ponders the stack and he goes, all right, you're good to go.
It feels like it weighs enough.
Yeah. Sounds good. And so they, they get the map, and then they're in the cabin, and they're putting together this little cocktail, a little
the trank,
Twilight Daffodil, if you will, this little concoction to put Bigfoot to sleep,
right?
Because they want to stop him for his own good,
right?
And I think that's how we get on to the next scene where they find his cave.
Right. Before that, one of the girls is like, what happens if we trank him and he passes out? And Greg Brady, I was like, that's a really good question. And Greg Brady's like, don't worry about it. Like, well, if I'm worried about it. Like, if you have a passed out Bigfoot that's 30 foot tall, what are you going to do with that thing that's passed out?
Yeah.
It's going to wake up at some point. It's going to be pissed.
Well, I guess that's a great, because what are you going to do after that?
Right.
Because you want him to pass out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not trying to just sedate him so you can be like, all right, hey, let's have a chat, brother. Let's sit down. You know you're really causing a lot of trouble for us here in Deadwood?
You're causing a lot of death.
A lot of trouble. Lots of death.
A lot of death.
A lot of people have died. We don't like to focus on the negative here in Deadwood.
But they don't have chains. They don't have a cage. They don't have anything.
Yeah,
they're just gonna
a giant semi truck, winch,
nothing.
Pulley system, nothing. What are you gonna? We're just gonna go put him to sleep and then leave.
Don't worry about it.
He'll wake up and go back on the rampage.
Yeah, he's not gonna change because he passed out once. Trust me, I know. So the sheriff's at the space or the place where the photographers were, and there's a raft in the tree, and that made me laugh.
Yeah, that was a kick.
Yep, kick death. They meet up with her, and he's like, okay, I got this dart gun. And I guess he shoots it. I didn't see him shoot it at all, but he's out of darts, and he looks in his suitcase, and he's like, oh, somebody stole all my darts. Like, dude, why didn't you check before? You have a full case. You couldn't have checked before? What's up?
That's true. He does. He lines up the shot as Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Because I want to separate Sasquatch and Bigfoot. This is a Bigfoot. This is not a Sasquatch.
I agree.
I feel like a Sasquatch a bit more of a refined gentleman, kind of like we were.
Totally agree.
This is Bigfoot. He the blonde woman with the dissertation, she is obsessing over this footprint. She's like, oh my God, my professor is gonna die.
Yup.
Right. And so she's taking measurements. They got the measurement out there. She's like, whatever, she's doing sciencey stuff. Get the plaster. Get the plaster out of the car.
And the water.
And the water. Yes. And the water. And so as she's doing that, Bigfoot comes up, gives her a little squash. She gets foot stomped too.
Oh, yeah. She just like watches him as the foot come down. She's like, oh, he's totally going to step on me.
Yeah. She's like, oh, yeah, there's no reason. And his hair is crazy. He didn't even try and comb it. He's like, maybe this Bigfoot had rabies or something, or he had a tick.
That's a good point.
I don't know. He was out of control.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Loose
And
cannon.
so his team of women is just getting ripped apart by Bigfoot left and right, and he takes aim and click. There's nothing in the barrel.
But they just had one at the house. What happened to that one?
There was a scene where Harley Henderson and his team, they broke in.
No, but that happened
the...
before. And then he was like, look at all this tranquilizer and this one dart I have for my trank gun. And then he like shows them and they're looking at it. So he should have one dart. They stole everything out of the case, but...
I think they stole... Yeah, because he didn't even try and... Like, he just pulled the trigger of the gun. So he thought it was loaded.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't really care.
But I think the sheriff like wanted to shoot Bigfoot with her handgun, and he's like, no, we need to do it this way. Yeah. And then he doesn't even have a trank dart in the thing, and then they find out, oh my gosh, all of the tranquilizers are gone. Because now, again, Harley Henderson, that sneaky bastard.
Son of a bitch with his B&E.
At least he had helicopters. Like, he had machines.
How?
Because Bubbles is a millionaire.
Oh, okay.
Because he went on
That's
Harley
fair.
Henderson's radio show once and got all of his sponsors. So he's got an army to take down. Which, I mean, at least he's prepared, right?
He was.
They
you would think.
Yeah, you could tie him up to a helicopter, fly him out of there. Greg Brady's got nothing.
No.
He's got the chains from the women.
Yeah, no.
And they're going to strap him and make the women just yank Bigfoot
out
and pull him out.
No, he's not prepared. And he says, they can't interfere. This is my project. About, I think, Harley. I don't remember. But like, bro, this is not your project. This is Bigfoot.
Right. This is a murdering machine that is currently taking out your whole harem.
Yep.
And he's upset that Harley shows up in a helicopter. And he's like, I've got the tranks. Ha ha.
Oh, no.
He doesn't fire any, though.
No.
He just takes aim a lot.
Oh, my God. He never, no. Yes. There were plenty of times where he actually had the shot and he just doesn't do anything.
I don't have the shot. Bigfoot's 15 feet above the tree line.
Thank you.
He's gigantic.
There's no way you don't have the shot.
There's nowhere where in the world.
You could shoot behind you and you would still have the shot.
Exactly. After the whole beatdown,
yeah.
Right? They're like at a bar. Just Spencer and Priya, because now they're the only two left.
Yep.
They're having a drink.
Yep.
And he just nonchalantly goes, are you okay? I've got a plan. That's the only recognition that 13 of your friends just were murdered by Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Have a beer.
It's fine.
You okay? Because I got a plan.
Yeah. We got a thing we got to do still. And it has nothing to do with the fact that our friends have just been murdered.
Yeah, we're still gonna put him down and talk him out of this because now the National Guard is getting called in at this point, right?
Right.
And now he's like, his concern is we just got to put Bigfoot down because if Bigfoot's moving, the National Guard is going to try and kill him. Where if I could trank him, then they'll just capture him, and that's best case, I believe.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, even if that were to happen, that would not have happened.
Well,
they would have killed that thing. But
100%.
Wait, Harley comes into the bar.
Oh yeah,
I love this scene.
This is the penultimate.
Oh, it's so good.
Between Spencer and Harley, where Harley says he just drops all airs. Instead of going, hey, you got a pretty smile just like your mom. Now he says something to that extent. And he's like, oh, you smell nice, just like your mom. And then he turns to the bar and says, hey, everybody.
I fucked his mom.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this. I fucked his mom.
So he walks away. Greg walks away, and there's a guy, I guess, playing an acoustic guitar in the back. He's like, hey, do you mind if I borrow this for a second?
You're the lead singer of Twilight Daffodil. Of course you could borrow this guitar.
I'll bring it right back. And he goes and he walks up nonchalantly to Harley and smashes him with it. I was like, come on, dude. That was not your guitar.
Cracks him with the guitar. And to Harley's credit, he turns around and starts swinging.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't stop him for a beat.
I mean, that guitar was made out of balsa wood. What else is he going to do?
Right. It's just... And then they fight, and they duke it out.
Yep.
I don't remember how that fight ends.
I don't either.
Okay, take it outside, boys.
Oh, yeah. They got kicked out by the bartender. Totally unnecessary. Don't care. But then we get to the sheriff's office, and they're looking at a map of the cave system. They figured it out. They know where to find him.
Oh, a fun fact that I caught when they first stumbled on the cave.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, ugh, that smell.
Yeah.
And it was the carcasses.
Yeah.
Not the monkey. It was the carcasses that smelled.
It's not a monkey, it's
a
Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot, because they had mentioned his odor earlier in the
Right.
movie, too. They had mentioned, I hear he smells like a skunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out, it's just where he lives. He eats the food, and then
hoarder.
it rots, and he just lives there, and that's the smell.
That's not something animals do. They try and not be around stink like that. They wouldn't have rotting flesh next to them.
It was a very unkempt cave.
Which goes back to my
everywhere.
original point. He has a mental disorder for an animal. He is not well. He probably does have rabies.
Yeah. I think this is a sick Bigfoot that we're talking
you're
about.
right.
It explains a lot.
It really does.
So they're looking and they're like, all right, so I think this is when they figure out what's happened with the Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
So there's an early winter storm, which we have not mentioned yet.
Right.
So there's a late spring storm. A late spring winter storm.
I wasn't really sure
So
what
it's
time
like
of year it was.
it's like May.
Okay.
But there's just snow all over the ground. They got hit with this freak snowstorm.
Yeah, he was like, so much for Mother Nature or whatever.
Or so much for global warming.
Yeah. Oh, good. You're one of those.
Again, Harley Henderson on his radio show. Oh, we got 3 feet of snow coming in. And so that's when they figure out the cave system. And then the sheriffs, Walt and what was there?
Becky.
Walt and Becky. They discover, what if Bigfoot is like a bear and he's got to go and this winter storm is throwing him off because he's going into hibernation mode because of the snow, but he's not ready. And coinciding with that, we're intruding into his territory, which, I mean, they've known about these cave systems forever, and they've always been pretty close to the town, right? Mm-hmm. So
why now?
Why not? Yeah. And nobody's like walked in there because they're like not 10 feet in there before there's just the elephant graveyard of animal carcasses smelling like a zoo.
And if you've been to South Dakota, you know that if there's a cave around, they have made a tourist attraction out of it.
Yes.
They will have lights and ladders and steps and railings. Like, it's a fun time to see a cave system.
Yeah, this is a tourist town of Deadwood.
Yes.
Which is a tourist town.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not monetized these caves.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and nobody's gone in there. I don't know.
No.
That's possibly the most unrealistic thing about this movie.
If you can monetize it, they will.
Exactly.
This is America.
And so they think that Bigfoot came out, got hit with this freak storm, and now he's freaking out, going into hibernation mode, but everybody's intruding on his stuff. And so she's like, I think I know where he's going to be.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know because he ends up rampaging through Rapid City, which is a new place that I didn't know about.
Rapid City, South Dakota. Pulling up the measurements here.
Oh, good.
How far away is Rapid City from Deadwood?
Yeah.
Because, again, this is right in its backyard. Right?
Yeah.
So we turn to the left, we could see Mount Rushmore. We turn to the right, there's Rapid City because Bigfoot walked there.
Right.
Within a matter of minutes.
Right.
42 miles. It's...
Well, he's 30 feet tall, so 42 miles walking distance. That's probably a good 10 seconds.
Yeah. And according to the maps on South Dakota highways, it's an hour drive.
Well, he's not driving, is he?
No, but our sheriff is.
Oh, yeah.
And she is there lickety split.
Right, because someone called in, officer down. And I was like, oh. There's more than one officer in this town? Wow, I had no idea because they don't show anybody.
And really, he just jumped through the town square and started tearing people up. Like,
He jumps through a warehouse wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man at some
point.
From
the inside. From the inside of the warehouse.
He had like a running outside.
He blows through the warehouse wall to the outside. What was he doing in there? We don't know. But he was in there. And then there's just like a park full of people.
Yep.
And they're just getting destroyed. Again, he's just going to town, biting some, swatting some, just going wild out there.
Bubbles and Harley are aware, and they're there on their four-wheelers or whatever.
They're going after him.
And he has a bunch of people with him. He's like, go get him. There's a $5,000 bounty. $5,000 seems really low for a 30-foot cryptid. Am I wrong?
For the amount of death
Thank
that
you.
this has already caused.
Thank you.
You're telling me that all 45 of these people's lives is only worth?
That's insane.
$5,000?
I mean, granted, that's probably what he's not pocketing. But that is insane. If someone was like, I'll give you $5,000 to kill this homicidal cryptid that's 30 feet tall, I'd be like, no, thank you. That is not enough money.
So just a small aside, I watched this on YouTube. Right.
Okay.
So you just got to just YouTube this movie. You can watch the whole thing.
Nice. It's also on like Pluto and Tubi, and it's on everything.
Well, so YouTube, it had other previews for other Bigfoot movies.
Yeah.
And so I watched one that's a new release. There's a new Bigfoot movie coming out.
Okay.
And they're like, we're teaming up with like Navy SEALs and this world-renowned cryptozoologist. And I'm like, isn't that kind of like an oxymoron? Like, just like a reputable cryptozoologist.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure that that's an actual title you can get. Like, it is. People call themselves that.
Yeah, but nobody pays you to be a cryptozoologist.
No. Can you get a degree in that?
Like, you're the guy who's got the Bigfoot Museum,
Right.
which is just a bunch of knickknacks in your trailer.
Right.
Like, I've been studying this for decades.
Look at this plaster cast
Exactly.
of a hole.
I just love that anytime you go in the woods, like in the mountains, this was all over the East Coast, all over the Appalachian Mountains. I went up to like northern Wisconsin, and I saw this everywhere. Bigfoot is everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
It's not one guy. It's like a full species of dudes and ladies.
And they've been throughout. This is why I really I really love Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like real Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because it's everywhere, right?
Mhm.
Japan, they call him the skunk ape.
Yep.
You know, we really have a Gigantopithecus.
There's also a skunk ape in Florida.
That does not surprise me at all. His
Mhm.
name's probably Henry.
He
He's
got-
actually a sheriff himself. He just doesn't
He
wear
got-
a shirt anymore. It's just hairy.
He got discovered because he was stealing apples.
A skunk ape stealing apples. What do you know?
Yeah, isn't
Not
that great?
ripping heads off.
Nope. Not 30 foot tall either.
So, so the biggest thing I loved about this movie was it was actually about Bigfoot
Yeah.
and not like that Hulu movie. I don't know if you saw it. There's a Hulu Bigfoot.
Oh, God damn it. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
It made me so angry because I was so into the first episode. What was it called? Like,
I think it was maybe Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Like it was
Yeah.
just the one word, but there was nothing but other than that first episode.
first episode was great. And then I was like, haha, fooled you. It is just like drug runners.
Yeah, it's just people being drugs and
Fuck you guys.
posing as Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And so I tried to get my nephew to watch this one with me, right? And
Yeah.
he was like, it's not like that other Bigfoot movie, is it? It's like, no.
No, it's good.
Yeah, so this is great. And then I showed him a preview, and he's like, no.
Actually.
He was like, no, I'm going to go watch Mountain Monsters instead. It's the same thing.
How could it not be? With that name.
Yeah, I think they did it right. I really do.
Yeah.
So they're in Rapid City now,
Mhm.
right? And the Bigfoot's causing a whole hullabaloo.
Greg Brady comes flying down in this magic kite that he has.
His
What is that
his
thing
little
called?
what is it? A hyperlight or
It's like a glider with an engine.
yeah, a little glider.
Oof.
He's got 40 miles to fly. He's going all the way to Rapid City.
And Harley sees him and he starts shooting at him, but he's just shooting at his fabric wings.
Yeah.
And then the engine starts sputtering because of that.
And he finally got his trank back. I remember he was lining it up. He's like, I got the good shot. And then all of a sudden he starts losing altitude.
Yep.
He just goes out in the brush. He just takes out all these trees. Now, I did notice during that scene, so it's an early summer storm, an early spring storm, or late spring, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But there was scenes where they would be in the helicopter, and it's just snowy white.
Yeah.
Snowy white as far as the eye could see. And then the very next scene, not a snow to be seen.
What's your point?
Summer.
What's your point?
It's just it
I
was
don't understand.
jarring. And then I'm like, all right, I get total snow, tundra to summer day.
Yep.
And depending on which way we're looking, I guess.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Welcome to the asylum.
Here's my next line. Tank. They're running down the street. Bigfoot's chasing after him. Just can't quite catch him. And she goes, "Get to the tank." And so I'm thinking, all right, maybe it's a historical tank, and and they're gonna go hide in it or something. But no, yeah, they get past the tank. Uh-huh. The tank turns around. Somebody's in this tank and blasts Bigfoot right in the kisser. Pow!
Yep.
Where did this tank come from?
Dude, where did this whole army come from?
They did call the National Guard.
Okay.
There was a point where she was like, "We're calling in the Guard."
Oh my God.
And I just didn't realize they brought tanks.
Why would they bring tanks? I mean, there's 30-foot monsters, so
there's a lot of death. A lot of
death. They like blocked off a road, and Harley and Bubbles come, and they're like, "Can we get through?" And they're like, "Fuck you," and then they have to leave. But the shot of Bubbles getting back in the car and the army dudes, they're all aiming their guns at them. Like, not like, chill out, it's just some guys.
Yeah.
They are aiming their guns at these people that are just turning around like you told them to.
Yeah.
That is bananas.
Well, I thought it was bananas. This is now, so the National Guard has locked off the caves.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're at, and then they're trying to get through it. Bubbles just gets out of the car and just walks up to these guys.
Yeah.
And these army guys aren't like, hey.
No.
Stand back. He just walks up and they're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" It's like, "Oh, we locked it off. You got to turn around. You can't come through." Okay. And
Bye.
and then as they're coming back, they're all aiming like, "Get the fuck out."
We're leaving. God. We got to talk about Walt's death.
Walt, car stomped into a tree.
Oh, my God.
Sad.
First off, she's like, I know what we can do to slow him down. Let's light my car on fire. What? How is that a solution?
It has 2 things of gasoline.
And then what we'll do after the car's on fire, we'll take 2 steps back. We don't want to be directly on top of the fire. So we'll take 2 tiny steps back.
Let's light the car on fire and then hide behind it. And it worked for a little bit. Bigfoot was a bit fire averse.
He seemed more
He's like,
confused than anything.
yeah.
Like he was like, what the fuck are you guys doing, you idiots?
And so he just kicks the flaming car.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns into that scene from Signs where the mom got pinned up against the tree in the car and she started telling the future, but it sounded like nonsense. It was exactly like that.
What did he say?
I don't know. Full of shit.
You'll make a great sheriff, I swear, even though you're a woman.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nonsense. Like I said, nonsense.
And then, so then I believe after that, like, all right, shit's serious now. The National Guard is taken out of the woods, right?
Right.
They've blocked it off.
Right.
And Spencer, Greg Brady, he goes, all right, this is now where all of our heroes meet in the caves, right?
Finally.
Because after Bubbles and Harley turn around, Harley goes, I know a way in. And so they do a little hike or whatever, and they come around and they run into another line of guards.
And she's like, they're like, oh, we're just some guys, whatever, it's cool, we're official. And she's like, wait a minute, your voice sounds familiar.
No, he goes, let us through. She goes, no, this is blocked off here. He goes, but we're volunteers.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please go ahead.
We're volunteer hunters. The mayor sent us. She's like, what? No, you can't come through here. And then, wait a second, that voice sounds familiar. And then, these volunteer hunters just come through, break through the lines. And then he goes, and what's your name? And she goes, oh, Corporal so-and-so. I was like, oh, she is fucked. Corporals are not high up on that ladder. They're like, yeah, you done fucked up, Corporal. And so they come into the cave. I forget how Greg Brady gets into the cave.
I don't remember.
But now he's in the cave with Priya.
Yep.
And they hide off.
God.
They hide off to the side because Bubbles and Harley are going up there.
Yep.
And they slip. Was it Bubbles or Harley? Turns
Bubbles
around
just starts shooting.
and shoots her. So Priya now gets shot.
And she's like, it's okay. I'm just shot. It's okay. It's okay.
And Harley's like, you shot a woman. He's like, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
And then they hear something. He's like, I hear something. I'm out.
Yeah,
That's exactly what he says, I believe.
You think that these professional hunters would have a little bit more trigger?
He was terrified. I mean, it's a 30-foot.
He did not want to go into that cave.
No.
And he had to get talked into it. But as soon as he runs out, this scene was reminiscent of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh my God, it totally is. Oh, finally, the black man made it through the night. No.
Finally gets out, and then the
killed.
army sees him and just wrecks him.
Oh, it's the Bigfoot. He's not very tall.
Well, after they just blow away this civilian who they just let through, let him through. He comes running out, screaming, mind you. So he's not like, roar. He's like, ah! They blast him to hell.
Yep.
And then everybody else starts coming out, and they start shooting at them too.
They did not give a fuck. They're just like, we see something moving, let's shoot at it immediately. Civilians be damned.
Yeah. Well, that's the National Guard for you.
I know, right?
Training once a month. That's what we get.
Bigfoot comes running out, and he's like, he grabs the Priya, the hippie girl.
Yeah.
And he's got this like moment of King Kong. I think I love this tiny little creature. Gross.
He's like, I think we're gonna be able to, but no.
And then he throws her.
He broke her back. He squeezed her like.
I didn't catch the squeezing part.
It's like of Mice and Men.
Oh, George.
George with the rabbit. And he's just like, oh. And you hear her back crack, and she goes, ah. And then he throws her.
Right. And then, like, far.
Like,
he throws her
yeah.
far. And Greg is there a second later, and he's like, oh, no, I'm going to fuck with your spine some more.
Well, I think it's like Greg was like at her feet, at Bigfoot's feet, and then so Bigfoot throws her. I think she was kind of like a boomerang because he'd broken her right in half. Because then she like landed at Greg's feet.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so she's just like, over this tree, splayed out. And he's like, don't worry, Priya. And then they, again, emotionless death scene.
No, absolutely.
This is your girlfriend, man. And that's where I was in my head. I was like, oh, this is now his chance to hook up with Becky. Yeah, they're
no, gross.
He's single now. You're like, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, that's fair.
And this is where in my notes I figured out Harley Henderson equals Harry and the Hendersons.
It's okay. It took me till the beginning of this recording to get that. All right, so now we're at Mount Rushmore because it's so close.
How did we get there? I don't even remember.
Idea. No, it was just automatic. Oh, that's where we are now.
Yeah, so again, Rapid City, 42 miles east of Deadwood, which is 53 miles east of Mount Rushmore.
Right.
And this is in the matter of minutes.
Yeah,
we're
seconds.
On Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
And Greg has repaired his ultralight, his little glider, his paraglider.
Yep.
And he's flying up to Mount Rushmore while
amongst all these Army helicopters and press helicopters, his little kite is just like tinkering along there.
And there's the Army man in the helicopter.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Sheriff, I heard you might need some backup, And then they're following Bigfoot as he's running to Mount Rushmore. And he says, had to see it for myself.
Oh my God. Another selfish asshole. Fucking men.
Just had to see her.
There's a shot of a reporter in a helicopter, and she gives the performance of someone in a high school drama club that is doing the report for the morning news. Mm-hmm. And now the Bigfoot is really gaining speed. Like, whatever she said, I hated it. It made me uncomfortable.
Doesn't she get swatted out of the sky?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Whole helicopter dead.
Bigfoot's like, you suck.
And I think at this point, I was like, we need to just agree that the helicopters were a bad choice.
Yeah.
He's swatting them out of the air. He's grabbing them and throwing them on the ground. They are useless.
Yeah, or at least like keep your altitude.
Right.
Because again, he is shockingly gigantic. So I could see like, oh, I didn't realize and then he had hops. He could jump.
Yep.
He could jump.
Even if it was just like a one single shot of him that gets bigger to represent getting nearer. Yes, he can jump.
And also at this point in the movie, he's looking really rough.
Oh, yeah.
He's showing the beatings. Like when he got hit in the face with the tank.
Yes.
Like half of his face is charred.
Yep.
And then there was a scene where it's like, it's twilight. And he's like in his little caves, and there's the Army helicopter. He's like,
it's beautiful.
And you're just like, that poor animal.
Art direction is gorgeous.
Nature at its finest. If only he didn't murder hundreds of people, we'd be leaving him alone.
I mean, he has a point, though.
Yeah, I'm Team Bigfoot all the way.
All the way.
Still, I believe Greg's last words to Priya was, I'm not going to let them kill Bigfoot.
You maybe should.
We're going to get him safe.
All right, so at this point, I'm just like, I'm so sick of the Harley Greg Brady storyline because they just won't stop bickering, and it's not important to the story. We have a murderous cryptid on our hands.
They are really at each other's throats. There's one point where I was a little confused because Greg says to Harley, he says, hey, remember when you and Mom played that show in like 86 or something? I said I was going to wait in the car. Well, I didn't. And then that makes Harley really upset.
And then he says, I played ball in the house.
That's what it was.
What?
I played ball in the house.
What?
How much older is he than you?
Was that innuendo? Did you play ball in the house, or did you play ball in the house?
Were you watching them, Greg? Is that what you were doing? But it did also, it seemed like there was a brief period where Harley and Greg were in a band together. Harley hooked up with Greg's mom, causing the band to break up.
Yeah.
And then Harley and Greg's mom went on tour. And Greg
As the
had to
Partridge
tag
Family.
along and play ball in the house while they were out there doing their shows.
I wonder if that was a Partridge Family reference. I wonder if there's a Partridge Family episode where they played ball in the house and something got broken and that was like the thing of the episode.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I hope so.
I really hope that there's like layers to this, and everything that we have caught, like all the little Easter eggs, like there's so much more. If only we knew the deep history of these characters.
No, I was gonna say maybe it's a Brady Bunch storyline, but I don't know.
Immediately, I went to the Marsha with the football.
Football, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just hope that happens. Anyway, so the sheriff, Becky, is like, no, don't shoot Bigfoot off of Mount Rushmore. There's guys there, guys with missiles. Stop, abort. And then she's yelling at these people from like, what?
The ground.
A mile away. Like, no one can hear you, lady.
They're in helicopters. These guys are in helicopters. She's shouting at them from the ground, waving her arms.
No, get down. Like, first off, if they were to get down, it's going to take a while. Second off, they can't hear you. Third off, let them die. Just let them die.
And also at this point, now Greg and Harley are on top of Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
Bigfoot is scaling Mount Rushmore. And I believe, again, Harley has an assault rifle, which has been proven time and again to not do anything to this monster.
Nothing.
And Greg starts fighting him over it.
Yes.
You can't shoot him. We got to put him out so they'll take it easy on him.
Dude.
You know.
Dude. No.
And then we get the penultimate Harley falls.
Of course.
Greg grabs him.
Of course.
Bigfoot.
Oh my god. Okay, this point to the credits was like cinematic magic. Okay, so the audience is, oh my god, is Bigfoot good now? Is he gonna save them? But we never know because they get missiled.
Yeah, there's the moment Greg throws his hand back and he locks eyes with Bigfoot, and Bigfoot shows the humanity in his face. He's been shot, burned, just terrorized over the past week here.
Yeah.
And he's going to reach out with his long taloned hand.
No.
And just as he's about to grab Greg's hand to pull him up or grab Greg to eat him.
Head.
We don't know.
No.
Right. The missile comes through and just blasts Abe Lincoln to hell.
I love it so fucking much.
And the three of them are titular characters collapse under a pile of rubble.
Oh my god, it was so beautiful.
It was sad. I cried.
Oh, a lot.
Bigfoot as he fell, and then on top of him, the rubble.
Oh my god, so sad.
Like, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
The scene that follows this was so fucking baffling, and I love it so much. It's a year later.
1 year later.
1 year later. Hessman is in a wheelchair, and I don't know if that was ever addressed.
I didn't know. I saw him, and I was like, did he get swatted or something?
I don't think so. I think
maybe in a deleted scene.
Oh, trust me,
you gotta get the
DVD. They put everything in there, and then he has. Oh boy, Hessman is introducing this beautiful. What do you call it? God damn it, my words. He's presenting this statue for the world to see of two good friends that were trying to
best pals.
Best pals. They were just trying to save the country from this menace. And First off, none of that is true.
Oh,
And
no.
second off,
He wove a web of lies.
oh, of lies.
That whole speech. Just...
Why even bother with the speech? Why bother with the statue? But then they reveal the statue.
It is the
Oh,
ugliest statue
so gross.
I have ever seen.
Obviously CGI, but it looks like modeled brass, and it's...
That's what I thought. I was like, is that... It looked like when you do those art projects in elementary school, and you got that thin little thing of brass or tin, and you like hit it with a nail.
Yes, that's what
And
it
it's
looked
just
like.
beaded, and they're like got their arms over each other. My
Oh,
note:
smiling.
what an ugly statue. They'd have hated it.
They would have.
Those two now memorialized forever as best pals.
And
They hated each other. Harley fucked Greg's mom.
as we all know.
You don't hang out with a guy who fucks your mom. Like,
And Greg, he played ball in the house.
he played ball in the house.
As they reveal this ugly ass statue, this weird ass song starts playing that sounds like it's in a funeral. Like, it is the grossest 2000s funeral march by a pop band I've ever heard. And I was just like, and then the credits rolling, it's like, what the fuck was that? That last 5 minutes was fucking insane.
It was very much like, here's the whole movie, and now we got to wrap it up.
In the most bizarre way that makes no sense. Let's do it quick.
The staging of the
Uh-huh.
statue, and then if I believe right, there's like a little arch around it.
Okay.
So it had like a little area, like it was a memorial,
Right.
and it was again in front of Mount Rushmore. And Abe Lincoln, he's back, baby.
He is back.
And nothing. He looked great, even though his whole face got exploded, and they had to peel a Bigfoot out from under
Plaster
it.
and water.
Plaster and water. And then there was an end credits scene.
Mm-hmm. There was?
Mid credits scene.
Okay, I watched like 5 minutes of the credits, and I did not see a credit scene. Please tell me what happened.
Okay, now I'm gonna feel. I'm like pretty sure.
You're gonna tell me a
Pretty
trailer
sure.
from a totally different movie.
No, it was like I believe it was the sheriff now.
Becky?
Becky,
Uh-huh.
like putting a key into the sheriff's office and opening the door,
Okay.
and she's like, "All right, this is like my town now," something like
Well,
that.
that's it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Not worth it.
I'm gonna go home and rewatch it just to make sure, because at that point now it's like, for me, it's like 12:30 at night. I was having a couple of drinks. Just
Sure.
I could have made that up. But
That's fair.
yeah, what an abrupt ending.
It was bizarre.
And again, just going on to the whole theme of like not showing any respect for human life.
Nope.
There are lead characters.
Yep.
We've grown to love them
No.
throughout the movie.
Disagree.
And
Go
then,
ahead.
well, when we're talking about Bigfoot, Danny Bonaducci, and Greg Brady, love them or love to hate them. Either way, they're in your heart. And then all three of them die at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just
Done.
cut 1 year later.
Yep.
Here's an
What?
ugly statue. Where's the statue
And
of the
here-
Bigfoot?
Yeah, and here's a huge ass web of lies to go with that
Yeah, of
statue.
like the best friends. And then I think that's a big commentary on like society and our history books. Like,
you know,
is this really what happened?
honestly,
And yeah, Christopher Columbus wasn't a nice guy, huh? With an
No.
orange.
from
And now they're just like, well, the orange. He's like,
Mm.
oh, maybe the Earth is round. That's how I learned about Christopher Columbus
I
in
have
second
never
grade.
heard that before.
They're like in 1492, and Christopher Columbus was like, hey, Queen Elizabeth, look at this orange. Right? What if like the Earth was like an orange? I bet you I'm not gonna fall off to the side of it. Give me some money for some ships. I'll go sailing. I'll tell you what I find. And that's like how he got the Nina, the Pinta,
Okay.
and the Santa Maria.
First off, that's all false. Everyone knew that the world was round by this
I
point.
think they were still thinking it's flat.
No,
Because that's why he was like, hey, here's the thing. If the world's not flat, then it's round, which means that there's going to be a way
right.
for us to open up this trade
No, he
route,
was just an
because we've
idiot,
been
though.
going.
But he was just an idiot.
Yeah.
He fucked manatees. He fucked sea cows thinking they were mermaids.
I did hear that the manatee has in the animal kingdom, the manatee
Don't say it.
is closest to.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I won't say it, but you know what? You fill in the blanks. This is what I've heard.
As been told by Christopher Columbus, because he has firsthand experience.
True. Christopher Columbus aside, just the whole rewriting history to like, all right, how can we make this obvious tragedy benefit for us, you know?
How can we make money off of this?
Exactly.
Which, why wouldn't they make a Bigfoot statue? If they want to make money, if they want to have people come and see the whatever.
You know what? I bet there's there's a cave that they mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, there's this unfinished cave because there's when they're going to Mount Rushmore, there's a tour guide.
Yeah,
he's got this tour of people, and he's like, there's actually an unfinished something. Let's go check it out. So I think they took the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They stuffed him.
Oh.
Right? And now he's like a feature on Mount Rushmore.
That would be awesome.
And it's just like the big. They got him posed or whatever.
What if they reanimated him and he's a zombie Bigfoot now?
Yeah, it leaves room for a sequel.
That's what I'm saying.
So I think all these actors are still alive.
Except for Hessman. Hessman's dead. I don't know about Cheryl and Finn. Dan.
Yeah.
Can you think of another title for this movie?
I think they kind of nailed it.
Yeah, they did.
There's not like, a lesson in environmental studies.
Well done. I came up with one, but only after watching the first 5 minutes of it.
Okay.
So it doesn't really stand for the rest of it, but this one's pretty cool. It's pretty metal. Blood drips down the funnel cake stand.
Oh. Ooh.
But it's not really relevant to anything except for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a little on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so good.
Or what if it's just called a lady sheriff? The question mark,
And the poster could just be her with her hands on her hips. You guys.
It would be Danny Bonaducci and Greg Brady back to back.
But they're dead.
Like Bigfoot's in the middle, just like.
Hand
I thought this was going to be a buddy romance movie.
What the hell happened here?
A buddy comedy.
Do you have a favorite line from the movie?
I just had to see it for myself.
Yeah, that's really good. I think my favorite is, man, that thing is big.
How about, you guys know I fucked his mom, right?
That's pretty good too.
There's a lot of thanks for showing up on your radio show. I got all my sponsors. Anything for you, Harley. Oh man.
Yeah.
What a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. Thank you. Dan, do you have anything coming up? Anything to promote?
You could go see One Group Mind.
Oh,
every
who's that?
Wednesday at 8 p.m. They're a fantastic improv troupe.
Where does that happen?
At the Comedy Clubhouse on North and Ashland.
Oh my goodness.
It's in
That
Chicago,
sounds great.
Wicker Park. That's a lot of fun. And then we're coming up to a pretty dope time of year. I think I'm going to get 2 weeks off of work, which is always awesome.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that because I like not working.
Dude, it's the best.
It's really the best.
I like that you're plugging the fact that you're going to be on vacation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still going to be here, But...
Yeah. But not at work, which
exactly.
is a million times better.
100. Yeah. Yeah. And I work from home, so I don't do anything. It's
That's
great.
Yeah.
And we don't need to get into that here.
Yeah, I just quit my job, so I don't do anything anyway.
Oh, fuck. Jealous.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Until my money runs out. It is the best thing ever.
All you got to do is find a Bigfoot. And
I know. $5,000.
$5,000 is yours.
Okay, Dan, thank you so much. This was a really fun movie. And it was a great conversation. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun to have me here. Thank you so much
you.
for having me.
Thank
Absolutely. You. Bigfoot may, number one in our hearts.
Rest in peace if
R.I.P.
you're not a zombie.
And hey, you know what? I like Sasquatches a little bit better.
Oh,
TBH.
absolutely.
I like myself a little more refined Bigfoot.
Right. Well, this one, He was weird. He had some mental issues that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, I think that they really could have done a lot with just, talk therapy.
Yes, absolutely.
Just listened to him instead of shooting at him.
Right. Like, you didn't ask him once what was going on.
Yeah.
You could have, like, had a whole thing. Like, you could have made it better.
Clearly he wasn't in a good headspace. But you know what? At the end of the day, this movie's just about
eating heads and stomping dudes.
Eating heads, stomping dudes, and attacking the mentally ill. So.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Bye. Thanks for joining us this week on the Asylum Case Studies. Special thanks to comedian Dan McCarty and a very handsome and talented Andy Slater, our mixer and engineer extraordinaire. Make sure to visit us at asylumpod.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever, so you'll never miss a case study. While you're at it, if you found any bit of enjoyment in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Unless you're going to be a dick, then no thank you. So until next time, I'm Tressa Slater.